Hello, everybody. Welcome to this live stream. My name is Cena Martin Chandler, and I am a faith based business coach for remote executive assistants. I help women who are female business owners, specifically remote executive assistants, heal their inner trust issues so that they can hire their first or next assistant or employee. And in today's conversation, we're going to be talking about one second, I just want to pull up my notes here. In today's conversation, we're going to be talking about what you can do if you're overwhelmed by client requests. And I want to give you a few ways that you can take control of that. A lot of, well, first of all, let me back up. I haven't done a live stream in months. I'm actually coming out of a very serious illness that I had, so I'm really excited to be back here with you guys and having this conversation again. And a lot of you, when I was out on bed rest and healing, were reaching out to me and asking me how you could work through the problem of having clients, having a lot of client work, but it's overwhelming you. Like client work is taking over your life. And so I kind of went back to the drawing board on my own business, and I'm going to get into that in this live stream a little bit more. But I went back to the drawing board on what worked for me and what helped me kind of overcome that client overwhelm, and I want to share a little bit of that story with you here today. Okay, so let's take it back to where I was before I started doing this kind of work that I'm now doing with my clients. So before I was doing this kind of work, I was building a online coaching business. I've been building an online coaching business since 2014, and before um, before when I was a solopreneur and I was doing it by myself, I was creating a ton of content as well as working with clients at the time. So even if I had just a few clients in the beginning, I might have had like one or two, and then I bumped up and I had four, and then I bumped up and I had six, and it kept going from there. But in the beginning, when I had those few clients, I was bombarded with the client work, and I also was creating a ton of content. So I was always working on like webinars. I was always working on lower end offers because that's the type of business that I was building at the time. And so I was totally overwhelmed with the client work and with the tasks that I had to complete behind the scenes. A lot of times I was doing busy work, client work, and I was burning out from just not having any time for myself. So a little background on me. I'm a mom. I have a family and a husband and two children. But at the time, we only had one child, and I would not even have any time to be with my family. I mean, I would be going back and forth with my husband because he would, be cooking dinner a lot of the time, so we were always ordering out. I didn't really have a lot of, excuse the cat's in heat, so she's not having a fun summer right now. A lot of times my son would, want my attention, or he would want to spend time, and he would want to like watch movies together and stuff like that, but I just wasn't present. Like the business was everything. It was taking all of my time. It was taking all of my focus, and my family really suffered because of it. So I was totally overwhelmed. I was booked out at capacity of what I could handle. Yes, I was making like okay money, but after a while the money started feeling like it just wasn't worth it because I was making the money, yes, but at what expense? Like I had no time to really enjoy it. You know what I'm saying? So I was robbing myself of that free time, and I was totally, like I said, overworking. I remember specifically having family events where we would have like game nights a lot of times with our family friends who lived in the same complex as we did, and I would go to game night with them, and expecting it to be like a night off from work and us having a family fun night. I would be at game night with my laptop, and I would crack open my laptop at game night and be sitting there doing client work. So there was no freedom. I was totally a slave to what I had to get done for my clients at every single hour of the day. And that's kind of where I was. So the pivotal moment that really made me switch out of that mindset, it was twofold. So we decided at the time to start homeschooling our son, our oldest son. And with him being in homeschool, it required a lot more of my attention and a lot more of my focus because basically me and his dad became his teacher. So what happened was, I remember my son saying, I hope you guys can hear me. I didn't even check this audio. I really hope you guys can hear me. I remember my son saying to me one night after, he had done his schoolwork and everything, and he came up to me and he said, Mom, like, you work way too much. You work way too hard and you work way too much. And he was little, maybe at the time, I want to say maybe 7, and he was, he just seemed so sad and he was so down about it. And he was like, Mom, you work way too much. Like, I don't ever get time with you. And it really crushed me to the point where it stopped me dead in my tracks. Like, in my head before that, I thought I was in grind mode and I thought I had to go out and make it happen and get it done. Hold on, guys, I just want to check my audio. Yeah, so I thought I had to go out there and make it happen and get it done. And then when he said that to me, it totally stopped me in my tracks because I felt like a failure as a mom. And I knew I wasn't, but that's how I felt. And so when he said that, I was like, no, I need to figure out what I'm going to do. I need to redirect. I need to refocus, and something has to give. So that was one of the turning points for me. The next turning point, like I said, he was homeschooling. So the strain I was putting on him even being able to be successful at school because I just wasn't present the way I should have been as his teacher. I could see the effects it was having later in the school year when he needed a tutor and he needed help in certain areas that I knew I could have helped him in. So the effect I saw it have on my family and on my relationship and on my child is the pivotal moment. That moment where he said to me, Mom, you work too hard. And coupling that with his grades and what was going on with school, it snapped me out of having to be in grind mode, and I decided to do something different. So why I decided to do something different. One, like I said, I had to snap out of it. 2, I just was tired of doing it all by myself. Like, I needed help. I could get clients. I knew how to do the sales calls. I knew how to get the customers on board, but I knew I needed help. I was tired of being a solopreneur. I was tired of burning out. I was tired of not having any time for myself or any time for, my loved ones. And so I decided to do something about it. And so I really paid attention to the areas where my personal and my business life were suffering. And that is what made me kind of fine tune how I was going to get help. Because I wasn't really ready to get help. I saw other people who were in business too, and other people who I had as like business besties and accountability partners. They all had like assistants and they had people who were helping them, but I just wasn't ready for that. I felt like I couldn't handle a team or manage a team, and because of that, I really kept myself in solopreneur burnout way longer, like for years longer than I needed to, because I had a limiting belief in my mind that I couldn't handle managing a team to help me in my business. And so looking at all what was suffering because I refused to get the help that I needed, my personal life and my business life were suffering. I wasn't serving clients the way I could have. I was holding myself back because I didn't get the help I needed. My time with my family, my time with my children, my time with my husband were suffering. People started to know me. This was the killer. People started to know me as the workaholic. That became my identity to other people, and I did not like it. I hated it. I didn't want to be known as the workaholic anymore. And so I started really fantasizing and thinking about how I could get the help that I needed, even though I felt like I wasn't ready to manage it. And so basically, here's what happened. From that point on, I started having conversations with other people, like we all do when we want to solve a problem. And I started asking around, like I said, business besties, colleagues, other coaches. I started asking them what were they doing to manage the client work overwhelm, and what were they doing to manage the solopreneur burnout. And so I had several different assistants referred to me, and I started having conversations with different people. I went through a process that I now use in my own program as well. But I went through a process and I ended up finding an assistant who was totally aligned with my goals, my beliefs, and my values. And this is the point where the faith-based business coach the faith-based part of what I do in my service comes into play, because this assistant, she wasn't just any assistant. It took time for me to realize this, but over the time, and now that I'm reflecting on it and I can go back to thinking about this, I realized the importance of having a team member who is spiritually aligned and who has similar beliefs, has similar values, and has similar goals as you, because that person brings a certain spiritual standpoint to your business that an assistant who is just coming in the door for a paycheck cannot. So you really want to make sure that the person that you bring into your company is aware of the same higher power that you believe in, and is aware of the goals that you have for the company that you've invested the blood, sweat, tears, and money into. And you want the person to be on the same spirit and the same flow as you. And so out the gate, I had worked with a few assistants beforehand who just weren't right, but this one, when she came in the door, it was a fit. It was a good fit. And so basically what happened from there was that 1 second, I'm just looking at my notes because I don't want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Hold on, guys. 1 second. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So basically, I recovered the time that I was missing, that wasn't being spent on me, and I was able to hand specific tasks out to her. I was able to identify what I wanted to delegate to her, and I was able to reclaim and refocus time on me and those clients in that business that I wanted to increase. I was also able to take the weekends off again. I couldn't remember the last time I took off a weekend, and I was able to take weekends off again. So that was amazing. The business flourished with these fresh and new ideas because, like I said, this particular assistant, she was in alignment with the mentality that I had, and she was able to see how everything that was in my business had a spiritual standpoint to it. Because, and when I say spiritual, I'm not talking about New Age. I'm not talking about some of these different, Western and new type of philosophy ideas that are out there. I'm talking about biblical standpoint beliefs. Those of you who believe in the Most High God, those of you who believe in the God of Abraham, that's specifically, where my faith lies, and that is where the faith of my assistant lied. And because we were on that very same page, right, we could look at scripture, we could look at verses and different passages in the Bible, and then we can meditate on those things and look and see where in our business those principles could fit and make it flourish. And so her bringing those fresh ideas to the table, it really helped the business flourish, because we started implementing different marketing ideas. We started implementing different ways to bring different clients on board and online. And so it was awesome. As a result of the business flourishing and new clients and new people coming on board, I was able to vacation more. Like, I was able to take more trips to the Poconos, to Hawaii. I mean, we went to so many different places, and I was able to take more time off of work. And the biggest thing that happened was we were able to expand our family. And remember, I said I have 2 children now. In the beginning, when I started all of this, I had 1. And so we were able to expand our family, and I got pregnant and had another baby boy. And all of this was a result, and all of this was possible, I will say, first and foremost, because of the Most High, and because of how he continued to bless us and watch over our family. And it was also a result of me having that assistance in my business, so my hands could get off of the day-to-day client work that was overwhelming me. So why did I choose the business I'm doing now? I chose the business I'm doing now because I want to help other women, specifically female business owners, who are executive assistants in the same position, experience that very same transformation. I want to help, and I want to help them focus on that. I want to help them have that transformation through that one-to-one focus. I'm called to do this. I know that I'm called to do this, and my mission is to help women in business turn their business and their growth goals away from vision boards and self-gratifying practices, and turn it back to, the Most High and what he truly wants for them in their business. So with all that being said, if this spoke to you, and if you want to schedule a next step call with me, I encourage you to click the link that is above this video. Go ahead and book that call with me so we can discuss where you may be missing the ball in your own business and where you can get some extra help in your business that you've been avoiding. Okay? I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.